This is my 1984 Camaro Z28 Autoform Edition. So this is one of the rarest Camaros of the third generation F bodies you'll ever see. This car came equipped with an L69 305 small block Chevy from the factory, rated at 190 horsepower and 225 pound-feet of torque. Now, the special thing about this car is there was only 100 made from the factory to the Indiana Autoform factory back in 1984. This car has been fully restored. Now, the beauty of these cars also is that third generation F bodies was the return of the convertible, but it wasn't until 1987 with the IROC Z that it came out with a factory GM convertible, which kept the back seats. So this car, when you would order it from GM, they would send it to Indiana to an Autoform factory where they would cut it in half, put this fiberglass top on it, and make a convertible out of it. Now, this car has been modified for daily driving and modern comforts, of course. On the back, I'm running 295 50s rim 15s with a negative offset of 25, and in the front I'm running a 215 75 15. Like I said, this car has been almost fully restored. Has a fiberglass hood. All the electrical stuff work. When I got this car, it came with the Recaro seats, but we redid the interior. As you guys can tell, it's all leather now instead of all that 80s stuff from back in the day. And it has a 2-DIN Pioneer radio, has Pioneer speakers, has a Grand steering wheel, has a backup camera. It's a pretty nice little car. This car only has 74,854 miles. It's equipped with a 700 R4 transmission with overdrive. Radio TAs by BF Goodrich. But this car is a head turner, especially down here. Talk about engine right now. This is still a factory 305. This car came originally equipped with a Quadrajet, and I swapped that out for an Edelbrock Performer. I have a Performer, EPS, intake manifold. I haven't swapped out the heads, but it has a brand new alternator, AC, power steering, and water pump. It's been converted to the R134A air conditioning. It also has a conversion from the electronic distributor from GM back in the day to original point system HEI vacuum advanced system. This is also equipped with long tube headers, cat delete, with a Flowmaster 80 in the back. And it's still a bit of a mess, but this car, for what it is, it runs pretty good. Suspension wise, it still has the original factory suspension from 1984, the McPherson struts, 4-link suspension. It drives better than most cars, I want to say, in my experience. And I've driven multiple cars. I've had a Cadillac 2017 ATS, which they're known for handling, and this thing is up to par. Now, I did say this car was equipped with long tube headers, so let me show you how this sounds from inside the cabin. Old carburetor cars. The tachometer is kind of messed up. I have to replace this whole thing still, but it's a nice little working car. And it just sounds amazing. ignoring the check engine light, because on these old cars, they were one of the first few cars to have emissions and all that stuff, and we took off all that stuff that's not required anymore, and that's why the check engine light's still there. I have to disable that. But this car runs perfect for what it is. This little 305 must be around the 250, 260 range, and horsepower. Torque has to be around the 300s. This car is very torquey. It can keep up with a lot of cars. These 305s, especially small block Chevys, they love getting aftermarket parts. The more air you can pump into them, the more fuel, the more free they are, the better they run. People have a bad misconception about the 305, but in reality, these cars, it's still a V8 small block Chevy. You can do so much with this car. I've seen people on Hot Rod Magazine or Super Chevy get these cars up to 600, 700 horsepower, of course with centrifugal superchargers or turbochargers, but it really doesn't matter. These cars were built for fun, speed, just like the modern cars. It's a nice little, daily driver sometimes. It's a great car. It's in great condition. Slowly but surely restoring it back to its original form and making it better. Now, I do have plans to rebuild the transmission to make it handle more horsepower in the future, as well as be reliable, and also do a posi differential in the back. This car comes with an open differential, and it has 373 gears in the back, so it's great for gas mileage, great for acceleration. And I am planning to do an engine swap eventually on this car. As of right now, my plans are potentially to do a cam swap into this car with aluminum heads. But if I get lucky, I'll be able to swap in a 350, a 383, or a 396. Either of those engines would be perfect. I'm not looking into getting an LS, because LS, it might be nice. You can make a lot of power with it, but the issue with LS, it takes a lot of time, work, and technical skills. I'm just a college student, so I don't have neither, and I don't have money for that stuff. But hopefully we'll be able to get a 350, 383, or 396 in this car, and we'll be pushing naturally aspirated the way these cars should be. Big numbers, heavy numbers, good for drag strips, good for street racing, good for anything. And this is my 1984 Z28 Autoform Edition, one of the few left in existence. It's a nice, beautiful car.